Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. Guys, the newest episode of Arrow Season 4, Episode 8, Legends of Yesterday, just finished airing on TV. I'm here to review / just talk about the episode. So if you have not seen the newest episode of Arrow, Legends of Yesterday, click away now, guys. I'm getting into spoilers. Are you gone? Are you gone? Okay, let's jump into it now, guys. Arrow Season 4, Episode 8, Legends of Yesterday. So the biggest thing that blew me away with this crossover event and Part 2 now on Arrow is obviously Barry having to travel back in time because everybody dies at their first attempt at stopping Vandal Savage. Holy crap, I did not see this coming. They released promotional photos showing Oliver, Barry, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, and they're both, Hawkman and Hawkgirl are tied up, like they're pretending to give over to Savage, thinking, okay, well then where's the rest of the team? And they don't show up, and then everybody dies. Oliver dies first, and then Hawkman and Hawkgirl, they die first from Savage. Then Barry and Oliver get the staff away, try to kill Savage, and that doesn't work. But Oliver's the first one to die from the blast that Savage drops down with that staff. Oliver dies in fire. Then everybody at the house they're staying at Central City, like Arrow and Flash team, they all burn alive. Everybody dies. And then luckily, we got a little hint earlier, before this actually happened in the middle of the episode, where Barry sees another version of himself running, and we saw this in Season 1 of Flash. And he actually does travel back in time because he runs so fast, he travels back in time, and they get to basically redo a redo of what happened between Savage and the Flash and Arrow team. I'm about to say Oliver team, the Flash and Arrow team. So that was cool to see they used the time travel aspect in this crossover, because basically with that happening, Barry has to tell Oliver, look, you were not in your right mind of frame there. You're not in your right mindset or whatever. I'm trying to get the right mindset, because before their first attempt where everybody dies, where they fail and everybody dies, Oliver basically lies to Felicity about his son because Barry didn't know what he was doing, what test for Oliver. It turns out it was, a DNA test to see if the kid that he assumes is his son is actually his son. And then it's assumed that Oliver and Felicity are over, and he's not in his mindset. He's not in his right mindset when he goes to face off against Savage. So it ends badly. So I like the fact, like I said before, they did the time travel aspect because it really made sense in this aspect. It showed them they failed, and you see everybody die. And then they actually do it, and they succeed, kinda, with an asterisk. So you think they won, but they actually didn't. But we'll get to that a little bit later at the end of this video about what actually happened, what's probably going to go down. Anyways, the second thing that I want to talk about is obviously Hawkman and Hawkgirl again. Now, in Part 1 on Flash's episode, Kendra Saunders, aka Hawkgirl, was taking all this in. She's going crazy. And in this episode, the first part, before they fail, in the first part, Hawkman's talking to her about, look, you need to find your inner rage, your inner anger, and basically, teaching her how to fight, and she gets her wings, and she tackles them, and all this kind of stuff, and you think, okay, well, that's good. She has her powers. She will allow it. She will basically be able to surprise Savage, because she can spout her wings and attack him and not expect it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work out, and that's actually how it ultimately fails the first time, because she couldn't sprout her wings, which I thought was very interesting, that she was technically the reason why everything failed. But Oliver and Barry, even though they both died and their souls left their bodies, essentially the reincarnation effect starts taking place, they still tried to attempt to stop Savage. It didn't work. In the second run, where Barry goes back in time, now we're in the second part of the episode, they're redoing it all over again, Cisco is the one that helps her close her eyes and remember what happened the first time Savage took both their lives, took both Hawkman and Hawkgirl's lives. And it was cool to see that Cisco was the one, over Hawkman, was the one to help her in order for her to defeat Savage, in quotes, because, like I said, we'll get to it in a little bit, but it was cool to see that actually it was Cisco that was the one that helped her remember this first time that she died alongside with Hawkman. So that was kind of cool to see that actually Cisco was the one to kind of help save the day, essentially, because everything worked out for the best. So there you have it. Number 3 I have to go with is obviously Oliver's son in this subplot. Now, I was reading on Twitter, some people didn't like the subplot being in the crossover, but it kind of made sense to me because they made a hint at it in the first crossover between Oliver and between Arrow and Flash. I keep trying to say their names. Shut up. Anyways, the first crossover last year, they teased at it and like, I'll be home soon, honey, and then she hangs up her phone like, who? What? A son? What? And then a child, essentially. So that was cool to see that they really took this a step further. And the first time around, because there's two different time sets here. The first time with the failure segment, the beginning to the middle of the episode where they actually failed. He finds out that's his son, and all this kind of stuff, and that's where the whole Felicity thing comes in. She finds out, DNA test, blah, blah, blah. So he basically, and she finds out without her, she's not supposed to know because because the mother of his child doesn't want anybody else to know that this is Oliver Queen's son. So, understandably so, I guess. Then in the second run, he does the same thing again. The scene plays out again, and he says, okay, I won't tell anybody. He goes and actually meets his son, says I'm going to come by every once in a while, which is interesting. I'm wondering if they're actually going to show that on Arrow Season 4, and into Season 5, he's going to be showing up at the house, whatever. But it's cool to see that he actually met his son, was pretending to be Mommy's friend. That's what he was referring himself to. I'm Mommy's friend. But I like the subplot because now it kind of humanizes Oliver a little bit more. Even though he's a human, he's not a meta-human, he's not a god or anything like that. But it kind of humanizes him more because we are so used to Season 1 and Season 2 of Oliver, seeing he's a vigilante, he kills people. In Season 2, he tried to stop, but it continued to happen anyways. But it's cool to see that now he's a father. It's a different aspect to the character now. So I like that. Number 4, the final thing here before we wound down here, is Malcolm Merlyn. I don't know what's happening here. He is digging up the ashes or the dirt. It looks like dirt, but it was ashes of Vandal Savage, repeating these lines like he's going to reincarnate him or something. I don't know. Is Malcolm Merlyn under mind control? Is he just crazy? I don't know. Maybe he's just being bad. I don't know. Guess we'll find out hopefully in the mid-season finale or something like that leading into Legends of Tomorrow. What do you guys think of this episode? Let me know in the comment section below, guys. Thank you guys for watching my review of this episode. It was a great crossover, and I'm so glad that they really found a way to make it bigger and better and actually feel like an actual crossover with an actual story that happens in part 1 and part 2, not okay, beginning, middle, end. Okay, that's the Flash episode, Arrow, beginning, middle, end. It's kind of connected. This was a huge connection. I hope that next year will be a bigger connection. I can't wait to see what they do next. Thank you guys for watching my review of this episode. Again, peace out.